Verbally Effective with Ina Esco is an interview-style podcast that intersects art, culture, politics, and entertainment with a Memphis focus. With producer Sana Marie. Each week, I'm joined by a featured guest with roots in Memphis. Verbally Effective delves into each guest's personal journey to uncover the incredible stories fueling their purpose, the highs and lows of their pursuits, and how through their passion, they are moving the culture forward. Be sure to follow Verbally Effective and Ina Esco on Instagram. Also, download the Verbally Effective podcast on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Google Play Music. Don't forget to check out the website and submit to be a guest at verballyeffective.com. Greetings, and welcome to another edition of the Verbally Effective podcast. I am your host with the most, Ina Esco. Thank you guys for tuning in yet again. And check it out. This is what I need you to do. I need you to go to the website to pick up some merch. It's really chilly outside, right? You need your hoodies. You need your long sleeve tees. You need your Henry mask. I need you to head to ivymultimediashop.com right now and pick up that Ivy Multimedia merch. Also, download, subscribe to the podcast on all streaming platforms, and subscribe to the Ina Esco YouTube channel. I want to introduce my amazing guest. She's awesome. She's talented. She's everything. She's an award-winning journalist. She's actually worked at all of the major networks here in the city of Memphis. And she currently has a new gig I want her to share with you. I am talking about the one, the only, Amy Speropoulos. How are you, beautiful?
I'm doing great. And you just pronounced my name so beautifully.
I did it good.
You did it great. Yes. That doesn't happen very often, but you did it fabulous.
Awesome. I was going to ask you.
You didn't even skip a beat, girl.
I did it good.
You did it great.
So have people always like, you looking at them crazy when they mispronounce your name? Like, there they go.
Yes. Well, it's ridiculous. And it's funny because when I came to Memphis, I was Amy Spears, and everybody thought that I was related to Brittany. And I was like, an old journalist professor taught me that any kind of publicity is publicity.
Okay.
So I just kind of went with it. And then when I got married to my husband, everybody said, you must have just shortened it to Spears because you knew we couldn't say blah, 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 blah. Right. Speropoulos. Right. So, yeah. But no, I did not.
Wow. Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
So, Amy, let's start at the beginning. Where are you originally from?
I'm from Pelham, Alabama. And so grew up in Birmingham, Pelham, and graduated from University of Alabama. My dad was getting his master's, so I am not a bandwagon fan. I had no choice but to go to Alabama. So went to school there and knew I wanted to be in communications. I mean, really, since I was like 2.
Really? How did you know so soon?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I grew up in a household where it was like a tradition on Saturday night and Sunday. We always watched the news. My whole family gathered around the TV and watched 60 Minutes. And my mom says that I was one of those kids in the class that raised my hand from grade 1, even when I didn't know the answer. I just wanted to talk. So, so when I started watching the news, I just kind of, I just gravitated towards it. And I was like, that's what I'm going to do when I grow up. And I never strayed from that. So, so very interesting.
Tell me about your experience majoring in communications in college. How was the program? Were you interested in other things other than communications as well?
I did dance through school.
Okay.
I come from, it's me and my 2 younger sisters, and we all danced. My third sister, my youngest sister, is actually pretty successful a choreographer, and she's a choreographer. She's done things for Lady Gaga and been on some videos and things like that. She's serious, yeah. I didn't get that. My jazz hands are about all I got. So, yeah, right. Jazz hands. So, but it did help me to pay for some of my schooling and to do some things that I wanted to do. And so going through the communications department at Alabama, I just really loved it. And I actually started working at a TV station in Tuscaloosa before I even graduated.
Really? Before graduation?
Yeah.
How was that?
It was very cool. The news director, and Kip Tyner, who I'm still good friends with today, he just really, through a mutual friend at Alabama, we were connected, and he was like, I'm going to give you a shot. You have a very strong Southern accent. Everyone thought I faked my Southern accent. They were like, she can't really be for real, but it was for real. And, but he just saw something in me, and I'm so grateful that he did. At the time, now you see live trucks everywhere, but at the time they were just now they started doing live remote commercials because they were kind of testing it to see what it was, how it would go. And so he said, I'm going to let you go to this carpet outlet, and I want you to do a little live commercial for GCO Carpet. I don't know what GCO stands for. I have no idea. But I said, okay, I can do that. And I guess, even with the accent, I guess he thought, okay. So he hired me. I mean, I still thank this man. He hired me as the morning anchor. Yes, Kip Tyner.
Morning anchor from the live...
From the live commercial to morning anchor. And I was like,
good.
What? I hadn't even graduated yet. I mean, I'm forever blessed. He's still just, he's very active in the Tuscaloosa community. Yes. So, but he's hired many people that have gone on to do really huge things.
He can really spot talent, though.
He's an excellent, and he really is. And I'm so grateful to him because he gave me a shot. So.
Yeah. Wow, amazing. So how did you get to Memphis, Amy?
So in 1999, I was actually in Missouri, Cape Girardeau, and I was trying to get closer to Birmingham to my parents. And so I was sending out resumes everywhere, and I had a lot of news directors tell me that I would never work anywhere but the South because I had such a strong Southern accent. So I had kind of resigned myself to that because when you're in TV, you don't make squat for money. I mean, everybody has this...
Radio either. Hello?
Well, it's so funny because everyone has this preconceived notion...
They think
that you make buku-doodles of money. And, I could barely eat when I was... my first job, $14,000, girl, was what I was making.
No.
Yes, ma'am.
No.
Yes. And you can't work another job because you're working 4,000 hours a day.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was just sending out tapes at the time everywhere. And I got a call from Michelle Gores at WREG, and she was like, why don't you come and interview? I had never been to Memphis.
Okay.
Ever. I'd been to Nashville, but I'd never been to Memphis before. So I came to interview with her, and I set up interviews with the news directors at all of the 4 stations here. And the news director at Fox told me that he liked my look. He said, you're a decent writer, but your accent is horrible. I would never put you on the air.
They are really serious about the accent.
Oh, serious. Okay. And so I literally cried. I'm positive because I've always been... Yeah. Anyway, it doesn't get better as I get older. But so I went to the news director at WMC. I had a great interview with them, but they didn't have any positions open. I can't remember. I couldn't get in touch with the news director at 24, but I went to interview with WREG, and she hired me.
Wow.
And she was like, we want you to start next week. We want you to be our weekend morning anchor. And so I packed my stuff from Cape Girardeau. I was working for KFES there, and they didn't like me because my accent was too... I'm telling you, girl.
This accent, that is like the resounding word.
Seriously. It was crazy. And so I moved in. Condo or apartment in Harbortown.
Okay.
And
that was a good spot
to
first get to Memphis.
That's right. That's right. And so I started at WREG, and that's it.
What were your thoughts when you first, got familiar with the Memphis area? Like, coming from Missouri at that point.
Oh, I am not a Missouri girl. And interestingly enough, I married a guy from St. Louis.
Really?
So weird. So stinking weird. How that happened, I can't even tell you, because when I left Missouri, honestly, and my mom was born in Raytown, Missouri.
Okay.
So I had relatives, not in Cape Girardeau, but I had relatives in the Show Me State, but they just didn't like me, and I didn't like them. I was like, you don't like me, I don't like you. That's
it was
fine.
like that.
It was me, yes. And it snowed there. It was cold as crap.
Yeah, it gets pretty cold out there in Missouri.
Yes.
Wow.
So I loved Memphis. I mean, it was great. I loved the music. I love food. I love the barbecue. I love the soul. Everyone was so nice. And not that they were not nice in Missouri. Actually, St. Louis was nicer than the people were nicer to me in St. Louis than they were. But it just wasn't a fit.
Yeah.
It just wasn't a good fit. I learned a whole lot at that TV station, because for a long time, KFVS was the number one running station, CBS affiliate in that it was a tri-state area, so they competed with a TV station in Kentucky and Illinois.
Right.
And they were a number one affiliate for such a long time, just because they ran through a lot of really good people there, and they taught you a whole lot.
Yeah.
So I'm very grateful for the opportunity, but I loved Memphis when I first came here.
Yes, and you're now a Memphis gal because you have not left. You
That's
are
right.
still here. And I thought what was very interesting, Amy, you have been to all of the top news stations here in the city. I don't know anyone else that has worked at all of them.
So strange.
How is that possible?
I have learned that Les Smith actually did, because Jason, his son, is in radio.
Yes.
I love, but that was made. I think he might have told me that, but I don't know that it's been done before. And I didn't even think anything about it until my friend from LA, who's a producer, after I left 24 and I was trying to get a job somewhere. I just didn't feel like I was done yet with TV. I felt like I still wanted to do some more, And he, my friend Joe Finkel, reminded me, he was like, you realize that nobody does what you've done. And I was like, what do you mean? He said, Amy, you have been at 3 of the stations, and this was before Fox even brought me on. He said, you've been at 3 of the stations in Memphis. You've never gotten fired.
So you've always left on your own accord.
Always left on my own accord.
That's great. That's great.
And girl, that's big in this business.
Yes, that is, because it's so cutthroat, right?
Oh, it's so cutthroat. And I remember when I was at WMC, I remember Ron Childers telling me, he was like, Amy Speropoulos, you hadn't lived until you've been fired in TV. And I remember thinking, well, I really don't want to be fired.
Right. Who wants to be fired?
I mean, who wants to be fired, And so, so I really prided myself in that. So my friend Joe Finkel reminded me of that. And so when I got the job with Fox, it was just a freelance gig because it was right around the time COVID was still, let me back up. COVID happened in March of 2020. The station 24, ABC 24, we just could not see eye to eye when my contract came up for renewal. And I shared a little bit of this with you the other night, but they, when you get into TV, it's like selling things is like the kiss of death. And when they came to me about the position for that show, Local Memphis Live, and I had a real long talk with my husband and with Jesus, and everybody, because I kind of knew in my heart of hearts, because they've always struggled in the ratings, and I knew in my heart of hearts if I went there, it was probably going to be my last stop. I just felt that way.
Wow.
And so I really wasn't sure if I wanted to do it, but they told me that, this is an opportunity where we're going to feature musicians, we're going to feature artists, we're going to feature community happenings. And I had not been allowed that opportunity for so long.
Wow.
Because local TV just doesn't, they don't have the time capacity to do that anymore. So I was like, okay.
Like, this is different.
Right. And that was before Bluff City. I mean, the only game in town that did that at the time was Live at 9.
Okay.
That was it. And I'm really good friends with Alex and Mary Beth, and they had even told me, we're not doing community stuff anymore. We're going to do more news. So when I joined in 15, it was they wanted to do community, but the general manager wanted to make money. So he said, we're going to do some pay for play. And I was like,
Yes.
I was like, okay. And, you can't argue. You've signed a contract.
You've already signed the contract.
Okay. So it went from some pay to play to a little more pay to play to a little more pay to play.
Then we just paying and playing. That's what we're doing now.
Right.
And so that pissed you off, Amy.
I'm going to be honest. It infuriated me because I was like, this is crap. This is crap, and meanwhile there was a lot of, and there is with every business, but there was a lot of infighting with a lot of people. I had never, and this sounds crazy, but I think being in this business, you'll understand what I'm saying. I had never worked for a station that the morale was so crappy. I mean, it was like they were the dog in town. They knew they were the dog in town, and nobody wanted to try to get better. That was the morale. It was terrible. And so to make things even more complex, my husband was at the Commercial Appeal at the time, and they were about to fold. So the general manager at 24 came to me and said, I hear your husband used to do TV, because we actually met at Channel 3. He did marketing and sales. Would he be interested in the director of sales position here? And I was like,
no, I don't want my hubby nowhere around here.
Well, I was like, been there, done that, not wanting to do it again. And
wow. It got to that point.
Right. Wow. So they made him an offer he couldn't refuse. So now he was basically my boss at the station where nobody is happy.
Sucks.
It sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, let's do crappy, and nobody wants to get better. And I'm just not used to doing that at all. I'm 49, and I don't know if that makes a difference, but my mother just never instilled that in me. I mean, she always told me that you do your best, you dress for the job you want, that's just what it is.
Right. Wow, that is interesting to me. And, you're a woman, you're a mother. I want you to kind of talk to the verbally effective audience about some of the misconceptions probably around, just being on television and having to juggle and balance, having a family. How do you do it?
It's very hard.
Because you have some beautiful girls.
Oh,
some beautiful girls.
Thank you.
So, you know, did they work with you?
Oh, my gosh. So
you sound like you have horror stories.
Girl. So when I was at Channel 3, I was pregnant with my first daughter. And the news director asked me at 9.5 months pregnant if I could go up in the chopper and do a story.
No.
I promise. I had to get a note from my OB saying that I could not travel 20 minutes outside the city because my water may break.
Like, seriously?
I promise you.
They wanted you to get in the chopper at 9.5 months. No.
I remember I was pregnant with one of my kids, and we, you never know what you're going to be doing. And this house was busted. It was a meth house. And you already know where I'm going. So all of the hazmat crews put on hazmat suits to go in. And my news director was like, I did a live shot, and he was like, why are you not in there?
No! Stop.
I was like, I'm with child, probably not safe. He was like, I really don't care. If they let people in, you need to go in.
No. See, they want anything for the story.
Oh! And it has gotten more like that than ever. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's ridiculous. And I had a conversation with somebody the other day, and it was like, in the business, she was like, we do all these stories about standing up for the rights of this person and this person and this person. Who is standing up for us? Okay. And I was like, nobody.
That's true.
Because you get treated like a dog. Mm-hmm. You don't make much money. On numerous occasions, I've had news directors tell me that I don't need to wear bright colors because I'm already a loud personality, and it just makes me look louder.
No.
Yes. I've had them say things about my ears, my hair, my weight. I mean, across the board.
And you know, that business is so glorified. People
Oh.
look at you on TV and they're like, oh, that's the life. You know, they're celebrities and blah, blah,
Right.
blah. But you know the real deal.
Right, because you get it not only from your boss and your colleagues. I mean, and don't get me wrong. I have some very good friends that are in still in the business. Very good women that you and I both know, and good men. But there are some people out there, you know, the higher you climb up the ladder,
The more strict.
yes, and the more people want your job.
Competitive.
I mean, I used to kind of jokingly, although it's true, say, look, there's about 20 girls outside the door, maybe 30, that are younger, cuter, and cheaper. And it's so true. And they don't have kids. They don't have a husband. They will go wherever. They will do. I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
You know, and so I mean, it's just it got to a point because 27. So I was with Fox for a year, and they offered me a position, and I was going to take it, but it was very early mornings. It was the money was terrible, and.
Even after all these years in the game, they still trying to offer you trash money and everything. Like, how dare they?
And when I begged for a certain amount that I thought was decently fair, and I'll just tell you, it's under $50,000. Yeah. I was told, we just can't do that.
That's amazing, Amy. Like, I'm sure you have opened the eyes of a lot of people right now on this business.
And I'm not naming names, so I don't feel bad about it.
But that is, I've heard some of these stories from other,
Right.
you know, TV news personalities.
Yeah.
Like, it's really, it's horrible.
And in addition to that, Ina, the crazy thing is in addition to that, you have people watching that feel like they can tell you anything. I mean, I was in a store one time with my girls and
the public.
Oh, yeah.
What happened?
Yeah. So I was in the store. This wasn't too long ago, actually. I was in the store with all my girls, and usually, especially with wearing masks, people don't recognize, but they'll recognize my voice. So this lady was like, she kept staring at me, and I was like, oh, and usually, I used to just say, oh, yeah, it's church or the gym or whatever. And my husband was like, just say it's TV, Amy, because that's where it is. So she was like, where do I know you from? And I said, probably TV. And she was like, I do, girl. You are just too happy.
No, too happy. Who's too happy? What's wrong with happy?
And this was when I was doing early mornings at Fox. I was like, I'm too happy.
Wow.
And you know what I said? I said, actually, that's one that I've never heard before.
Wow.
I mean, that's all I could say. I've heard you're too fat, you're too skinny, you're whatever. I've been told to get this apparently there's some procedure you can get to pin your ears back because mine look like Dumbo's.
I'm glad you didn't listen, Amy.
Oh.
I'm glad because it seems like, you know, with all of those opinions, it could do a number on your confidence.
Oh, and you know what? It did. But I'm a very spiritual person.
Yes, I see, and I can feel that from you.
Yeah.
So God held you strong.
He did.
Yes.
Because I had to constantly be reminded that I was worth more.
Yes, definitely.
And even more that I would be okay even if I wasn't Amy Speropoulos on TV.
Okay.
And that was a big one for me.
Yes.
Because I had done TV for so long, I felt like I had no identity. And I was only Amy Speropoulos from the TV. And I have a lot of really godly, strong, wonderful women that reminded me, you're still a beautiful person, even if you're not on TV.
I love it. You are.
You know?
Yeah.
So, but it's hard when, you know, and you got it from all directions.
Yeah.
So.
But that leads me to this question. You now have a new gig.
I have a new gig.
And I want you to tell us all about it
So
because you seem really excited about this.
Girl,
it's a change, right?
It is a complete change.
Okay.
And so but this, you know, I don't believe in any accidents. And several years ago when I was at WMC, there was a producer there named Erica Kane, and she did some stuff with Girl 24 and some other things. She's done a whole bunch of stuff. She's uber talented. But I had her on my show a few times, and Little did I know that she was the marketing and admissions director at New Hope Christian Academy. I didn't know anything about New Hope Christian Academy. All I knew is that I love kids, and I love to help people. I mean, I really have a heart to help people, and particularly people that have struggled for whatever reason. If they've struggled with addiction, that's part of my story too.
Okay.
To God be the glory. I will celebrate 8 years sobriety in March.
Hallelujah.
So,
hallelujah.
Yes,
So you dealt with that while you were on news.
I dealt with that while I was on the news.
I didn't know that, Amy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was. Yeah. But I'm quick to say that the news business is not what took me down that path. My father died at 55. I've always had a very strong personality. I'm either eating bad or I'm eating good. And, I didn't obviously start out being an alcoholic, but it just quickly led to drinking and blacking out. And but anyway, so I'm grateful for that. But I've always had a heart to help people. And just particularly children who, for whatever reason, grow up in a whatever sort of environment where they can't seem to get out of. And I'm not saying that those are the children that go to New Hope at all, but I have a real passion for that. And so I believe God always can see far better than we can see. So when I was, I had been at Fox for a year, and I was really to the point, honestly, because they were having me do really early mornings, and I just couldn't do it anymore. I mean, my husband was like, I can't be a single dad with these kids. You just can't. And it's far different doing that. Well, you don't know, but it's far different doing that schedule when you're in your late 40s than it is when you're in your early 20s.
Yeah, it's the big difference.
Woo! So, I mean, faking it until I made it. I was like, I can't fake it until I make it anymore. I'm tired at 6 months.
Tired. Y'all heard that she was tired.
I was tired. So, so I applied for a marketing job there, and my phone rings, and weirdly enough, I normally do not answer my phone if I don't
Me neither.
At all.
But you answered it.
Girl, I answered it, and she goes, Amy Speropoulos, this is Erica Kane. Are you really applying for a job at our school? And I almost fell out. I was like, yes. She said, I know you don't want to get out of TV. And I was like, girl, seriously? She said, well, I'd love to talk to you about that, but it was the beginning of July. She said, I'm on vacation starting tomorrow for the next 2 weeks. I said, I can come now.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. You probably was hired on the spot.
It was confident. I was pretty confident when I left.
Okay.
So I went right after my shift at Fox.
Okay.
She gave me a tour of the school. She said, we've been in existence for 25 years. We start at 3 years old and we go to 6th grade. We've been the best kept secret in Fraser, but we're really wanting to get our word out there and expand our enrollment. And, it's a private Christian school. We have chapel on Fridays. I was like, I'm
Sign me
sold.
up.
Girl, I called my husband and I said, look, he said, take it.
Wow. and you've been there how long now?
So let's see, that was July, August, September, October, November, 4 months.
And you love it.
Oh my gosh, I absolutely love it.
You look so happy. Like you look genuinely happy.
Girl, thank you.
Yes.
I absolutely, I can't even tell you, like every moment, these little kids come up to me, Miss Amy. I'm like, can I just take you all home? Oh my gosh.
Yes.
They're just darling. And it's just what they're doing is beautiful. It's just incredible the amount of families they have helped. They're leading these little ones to Jesus.
Yes.
How can you go wrong with that?
Especially in a time and place where we are now,
right?
What's going on.
Right.
In the world.
Yeah. And these little kids, they can quote Bible scripture. They can, and they're just, it's just like, these are the people that hopefully one day will be really making a difference in Memphis, you know?
Will.
And it's so cool because some of their alumni they brought back to work at the school because they believe in the mission that much. And, it's just great.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
Wow. Well, I'm glad that you found a good change, something that you
Thank
love, something that you can grow with and help other people with.
Thank you.
Because I can tell you have a strong sense of community and want to give back. So,
I love it. And see, honestly, Ina, in all those years in TV, you work so hard, you don't have an opportunity to get involved very often at all. So that is, I'm extremely grateful for when 24 offered me that opportunity, because I was there for 6 years, because it gave me an opportunity to really get involved in a lot of organizations that I would not have an opportunity to have been involved in otherwise. And, nobody goes into TV thinking they're going to have their own show. And God gave me that opportunity for 6 years. So I'm forever blessed for that.
Yes, He ordered your steps.
Everything
led you right here.
Right here.
To sitting with me on the Verbally Effective Podcast.
Oh my gosh, and such a joy.
Yes, you are indeed. I wish I had more time, Amy.
I know, I'm just
to
chatty
talk
catty.
with you. I love you. You're so
awesome.
a light. You
Thank
definitely
you.
are. And I'm so
you.
thankful that you joined me today on
Thank
the Verbally
you.
Effective Podcast. How can everybody follow your journey, your new journey?
Oh my gosh! Well, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram. I have 2 Facebook accounts, in fact, Amy Speropoulos and Amy Speropoulos. I'm even on TikTok.
Dancing. She on TikTok dancing.
Oh yes, honey.
Y'all.
I'm on TikTok and Snapchat.
Doing all them new moves. That's what she doing. Yes.
Now, granted, I did go on TikTok and Snapchat just to keep up with my kids, but I'm still on there nonetheless.
You might go viral, Amy, because you did that in news when that dance came out.
Well, that's right.
Y'all
We did the little dance.
Yes.
Yeah, we did the
It went viral.
And it did go viral. That's right. I mean, I do have some of those dance moves, but
yes. Amy Speropoulos. Spell your name for everyone so they can follow you right now.
Okay, so it's Amy, A-M-Y, and it's Speropoulos.
Yes.
Amy Speropoulos. Yes.
Love it. Well, I have definitely enjoyed you today. I wish you nothing
precious,
but the best.
Anna.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad I met you. Yes.
Straight God thing.
Yes.
Straight God thing, girl.
Straight God thing.
Absolutely.
I love it. That's going to be the title of this podcast, Straight God Thing. That's the title.
I love it.
Yes. Amy Speropoulos, award-winning journalist. Now she's giving back to the community over there at New Hope Christian Academy. Thank you all for tuning in yet again for another edition of the Verbally Effective Podcast.